I get a call, and I was like, huh? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. What the hell is this call from? Saw the name, ignored it, and said, whatever. I'm not. It's late. 1 in the morning. Calls back. I was like, what the hell? So then I was like, I answered.
Your baby mama called me Papi Chapo. She said, Nino out here looking way too guapo. But I'm just trying to make it to the top though. Representing for all my Dominicanos. No, we won't stop, ho, I'm Papi Chapo. She said, Nino out here looking.
Welcome to the kingdom, baby. Welcome to Deep Dome Talk. This is your boy, the Emperor here, Felix, and this is my land here where we get to talk. We're going to go ahead and have so much fun on today's episode. We have a good amount of stuff that we want to talk about, so let's go right into the thick of it, guys. Welcome in. Really quick, do want to make sure you guys are if you are listening in on us, we are now starting to stream in on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and Spotify. So please, guys, go ahead. If you haven't already done so, if you want to listen to us, if you want to listen to me, and you want to go ahead and enjoy the show just more on the audio side, just because you're working, listening, or whatever the case may be, go ahead and subscribe to our channel there. Again, it's Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, as well as go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel because we're going to have a lot more content coming on in the future. Also, guys, we are on, or I'm on an additional Instagram page with the Deep Dome Talk. Go ahead. It's going to be at the bottom. I'll try to put the links into the description so you guys want to go ahead and just join us and, enjoy what I got going on. Sometimes I post up some information, some questions, which is a great way to segue into a social question that we got going on here at the Dome. I went on and posted a question onto Instagram and Facebook, and I did get a response, nothing crazy. So thank you for the response I did get. But the question of the week that I gave was, what's the wildest story you had to get away from an obsessed ex or a person? And off the back, one of them was my baby daddy. I literally had to move to a whole nother state. And it's intense to hear. I think anybody who has to get away from ex or just a obsessed person, whether it be a friend or some rando that you don't know about, it's a scary situation. It's an interesting situation depending on what the situation is. If you know the person or you don't, it could definitely change probably the dynamic of it. But it brings to question, is that passion or is that just being straight up obsessed? Now I love to say I'm passionate about my sports teams. Those who know me, I'm a huge Mets fan. I'm a huge Jets fan. Love the Knicks. Been to a few games for each of those except for football. I've not been to an actual live football event. If you're hearing this out, please hook a boy up next season for football tickets. But I don't ever think I would be that crazy. I would hate to say crazy is a word, but intense enough to be like, okay, I'm going to stalk this team or the players of this team or anything like that. It just doesn't feel right just to go ahead and do it. And I've heard a lot of stories of like players have had, obsessed fans. I've heard a lot of situations where even actors, actresses, wrestlers, even who've had stalkers for whatever their reason, whether it's to hurt them, whether it was to maybe just try to get them to go on a date or something, whatever the case may be. So I think it's kind of interesting of a situation to be there. I would say that falls more in that line of obsession when you have to be like, I need to see this person to the point of I'm going to be at their house. I'm going to be by their job. I'm going to be there by, the local gym that they use because I know they're at that gym. I think it's the tiptoes the line of crazy and obsession. I don't know if it leans to passion. I don't know if you could say you're that passionate that you have to be next to that person 24/7, and you got to find out where they're at. I know some people may have the argument, so I mean, if you have something else to say with this, go ahead, drop it into the comments. Um, I did ended up finding a story recently to kind of link into this kind of conversation. Um, those of you who know Robert Pattinson, actor, he's played in recently he did the Batman, was in Twilight Saga as Harry, but it did one of the Harry Potter movies. Um, it's done a lot of movies. I know I need to kind of hit the mainstream ones, but um, it's a story that came out. It says Robert Pattinson dealt with an obsessed fan by inviting her to a dinner date. So this story is kind of interesting because um what I've okay, like I said, I've we heard the response to moving to a whole nother state to get away from them, but I've never heard about dealing with the obsession by just take them on a date, see what happens. Um so Pattinson went on a date with what they quote unquote enthusiastic fan who shared his um who he then shared his issues and she never returned. Well, what a way to scare somebody away. Let me tell you about the crap that I'm dealing with. Who knows where that goes? In 2009, Robert Pattinson faced a stalker who loitered outside his apartment daily. Turning the tables, he took her to dinner, treating it as a therapy session by sharing his problems. Surprisingly, the stalker never returned. So I have one of two things that could have happened. Either A, she saw him and said, "Okay, you're just boring. You're just like any other cute person, nothing special." Or B, this is the fun part of this one. She heard his problems and said, "Fuck, you crazier than me." So, um, very interested to see like what other people have done. Again, if you guys have any response to what you've done for a stalker person, or obsessed person, uh, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you guys say, or shoot a DM, um, and let me know what you guys have done because kind of intrigued. I actually, I actually had I don't know if stalker's the word, but I had someone I had dated briefly, and she was a bit, obsessed with, and I remember I used to hang out with one of my boys. I mean, we used to hang out a lot, and I got drunk one night, just hanging out, got some drinks, and my boy takes me home. So I was like, all right, bet. Got home. I'm crashing for the night. I had a great fucking night with the party. And I get a call. And I was like, huh? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. What the hell is this call from? Saw the name, ignored it, and said, whatever. I'm not, it's late. 1 in the morning. Calls back. I was like, what the hell? So then I was like, I answered the phone. I'm like, you're calling me at 1 in the morning. Someone's better be dead. Or, someone's hurt. And the phone, like, hello? And she just begins to chit chat with me. Like it's okay to call me at 1 in the morning. Um, I was like, what the hell? I was like, okay, so I'm listening into this conversation, and she just blurts at one point. Mind you, we were separated, we were broken up, so we're both single. This is not even like we're even talking. I hadn't even talked to her prior to this for months, and all of a sudden, I hear her say, "Oh, I love you." I went, click. She proceeds to call me, I mean, every day, like try to text me. And for a while, I was kind of, I guess, entertaining it. I would just answer it and like, yeah, hey, what's up? And she try to talk to me. And because I'm one of those, like, we have a relationship, we break up. If it wasn't like a terrible breakup, I'll try to keep it, commendable. If you want to reach out and talk, we can always talk. Try to be that good person. Um, she just kept calling and talking, and then she would be like, "Oh, I love you so much," and I'm like, "We're not together. I don't have the same sentiments of that love that you're giving. The fuck is this?" So I remember just at one point she just kept calling, and I just would air it, call again, air it. She would text me, air it. I was like, I'm not gonna entertain it no more. I just decided, okay, I entertained the crazy for a little bit. I thought you wanted just friendship, but you look like you want more. I try to tell her I don't want anything to do with her in that capacity. We could always be friends. And she's like, yeah, 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 that's cool, but wasn't apparently cool with her. So she kept trying. Um, Lo and behold, nothing, came of it. And finally she kind of just stopped. And I was like, okay, cool. I never heard from her again. And I kind of heard she was still around, roughly around where I live now. And I just like, oh, hope her the best, wish her the best, hope nothing happens to her. But it's just kind of like, weird. You get that weird obsession call. And um man, actually, come to think about it, I remember something with one of my boys. Um and he was getting stalked to the point where the girl was calling me, trying to stalk and saying, "Oh yeah, it's so and so's girlfriend." And I'm like, "You guys have been broken up for shit ever. Like, what are you talking about, girlfriend? You guys are not even together." And she kept every time we'll call. If she couldn't get a hold of him, she would call me. And then if she couldn't call me, she would call his mom. Oh my god, it was so crazy. It was like the craziest thing because I felt so uncomfortable. I remember to the point where the first couple times she started saying that, I had to call him like, "Hey, are y'all together?" And he'd be like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, why is it she's calling saying, 'Hey, it's so and so's girlfriend?'" And he was like, "She's crazy, bro." And I wouldn't call her back, but she'll call me back and then want to have a whole conversation with me. It's just so weird how sometimes that be. So I don't know if that again, if that's just because they're so passionate that they're crazy about said person, or it's just that it's so obsessed that obsession is just the crazy part of it. Um, I'm intrigued to hear what other people think and what you have for your thought of it, and um, what you guys are wanting to do, or what would you guys do, I should say, um, and saying like, "Oh yeah, like I dealt with obsession or like a stalker or whatever this way," and do you think they're crazy? Do you think they're not crazy? I think lo and behold, I think sometimes they can kind of fall into that they're kind of crazy, kind of not, kind of thing. Maybe something you can reason with and understand what maybe the obsession is. But again, I would love to hear what you guys got to say. Drop it in the comments. Um, yeah, it's kind of an interesting topic to go off of. Um, but kind of want to go off of a kind of a segue, if it may. First off, I do want to say whoever won the Super Bowl, I would love to hear who you guys rooted for. I know right now I'm recording pre Super Bowl, so I won't, obviously when this airs, it won't have any. I won't know who won until after it drops. I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I kind of have a feeling that the 49ers are going to win, so that's just kind of like my kind of segue to everything. But um, have an off the dome talk. It's an interesting conversation because it was a post I started thinking about. I saw it first week. I think it was like the end of the first week where I dropped the episode 1, and I've been kind of thinking about it for a while. And it was an interview with Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, one of my favorite players. Um, and the quote read, "Open to a woman? Nah, never. They're gonna throw it back in your face." So pretty much what he was saying, he was on a podcast, and he expressed that he doesn't feel that men should open up to women, and that he doesn't open up to women himself, because whatever you open up about kind of gets thrown back at you in your face. If it's, I guess, some type of weakness, some type of uncomfortability, maybe an issue that you've had with your family, that it kind of gets put in your face when there's a massive fight. Um, I would love to hear what others are going to think about. Again, I want to leave that to the comments, and I would love to hear what you guys say and think. But um I'm kind of intrigued to hear what's going on and with men, and I think even what the women would should think that the men should do. I honestly, I'm a married man. I'm going on year 2 of marriage. um I actually, sometimes feel indifferent, as a guy, when it comes off to talking about, uh, I guess, feelings. I've tried to be a very open book about how I feel, what I'm feeling. I feel like it keeps it healthy, um, because if something makes me uncomfortable, I'm hoping that, especially like my wife would understand, like, hey, I'm uncomfortable when you do this, or when we go here, can we not do it? Or if we're gonna do it, can it be very limited? Let's not make this an every week or day kind of thing. And um, she would understand. Not that we've had much interactions where uh I've noticed we've had that type of issue, but if there has been times where maybe something I dealt with or I've said, and she's like, "Hey, I'm uncomfortable with it," and we talk about it, and I've never throw that back in her face. So I kind of expect the same backs of, you're not gonna throw it back in my face, I'm not gonna throw back anything in your face. Even on fights or arguments or discussions, whatever you like to call, I don't think it's fair that if I'm sitting there saying, "Hey, I'm going through something, I want to talk to you," to my partner, for whoever hears this, whatever your partner look, maybe guy, girl, that they don't throw it back in your face. I don't think it's fair that if I'm sitting there saying, "Hey, I struggle talking to my parents," and we have an argument, you're like, "You know what, why don't you go sit there and talk to your parents about it?" And it's like, really, like, you're gonna have that argument with me about this? It's kind of like that Cat Williams moment where, like, some of the stuff that we've dealt with and you kind of aired your dirty laundry against me. um uh you know we're in a moment where I can't even fully defend myself too. I can kind of think that kind of falls into this weird, like, I wish I almost didn't talk to you about that. So I don't think it's fair if anyone does that, but I don't think every woman does that. I think it's probably my own hot take about it. I've known plenty of women that I'm really good friends with. And even my exes who I've been with have never, why don't you sit there and and one of my exes, that I got cheated on. It's not unnatural to hear. Um, and not once did I say, "Well, why don't you go, on a fight? Why don't you go back to that guy that you cheated on me with?" I've never used that line because it's just not. It's classless. I almost feel like. Why would I have to sit there and bring? I have other things I'm going to pick on that I'm going to probably sit there and argue with you and pull out. Why would I go back on some stuff that you did, especially if what you told me or whatever I told you hasn't separated us? It shouldn't be used as ammo. Let's be fair. If you sat there and told me that your past, you used to cheat and you used to do things and you used to be all around, and I'm not gonna sit there and assume that you're doing that now, and I'm not gonna sit there and assume that when I bring it back at you that you're gonna enjoy that comment. It's not a fair comment. It's talking about who I was versus who I am now. Just off, something I started thinking about off the dome. That I think that if we're gonna sit there and talk about what our history is or what our problems are, I shouldn't. It shouldn't ever be used against me as ammo or fuel to be like, "Oh, I got this guy. Next time he sits there and argues with me, I'm gonna throw this in his face." It's like, no, I have other things again that I could probably use in our argument that I'm already dealing with in this said conversation that I'm probably gonna throw in your face. I'm not gonna throw anything else at you. So I think if you are gonna have that conversation, for guys, this is a safe spot. I'm pro men's mental health, as a dude myself. Um, but if you want to sit there and talk, it's always okay to, I think, to talk with whoever it is, your friend, your spouse, female friend, partner, whatever it is, that you could sit there and be like, "Hey, I have this problem, and I want to be really vulnerable with you, and hey, let's let me talk to you about this. And they should be able to reciprocate that and go, yep, you're right. You know what? I'm not gonna even argue with you about this. On we go. But yeah, drop it in the comments, guys. I want to hear what you guys think about that. Do you think Shaq is right? Do you think that you shouldn't open to women? Again, that's your personal prerogative. Or do you think that it's something that's okay to talk about with your spouse or whoever, and that it's okay to use that conversation to kind of be open and vulnerable? Thank you guys for joining me in the squared circle here at Deep Dome Talk. You guys have been amazing. As always, guys, I want to make sure that you are subscribing to the channel. So if you like the conversation today, you thought it was pretty cool, go ahead into the like button. It should be, I think it's like right off to the left here or to the right. I don't know, somewhere there at the bottom. Gonna go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button too. You can always enjoy any other conversations we may have going forward. And for our audio listeners, if you're listening into it and you like the conversation, go ahead, give us you could do me a huge favor. Go ahead and hit the 5-star button. It kind of gives us here at Deep Dome Talk, good rating. Keep pushing our name and keep putting the brand on top there. And hey, it always helps out. And if you guys thought we were bad, let us know what I did wrong, what I could always do better. Maybe a topic that I could always talk about, and we can enjoy it and maybe talk about in the next episode. I do have a lot more things coming up. I'm going to be traveling the next couple of weeks, so I don't know when this episode drops, if there's going to be another episode coming following week. I may be able to drop one. So TBD on that. I'm going to be on the West Coast. I'll be actually in Arizona, so hopefully I get to see anybody out there. And hey, guys, thank you guys for being and joining me here. And
your baby mama called me Papi Chapo. She said, Nino out here looking way too